Good evening, everyone. Welcome, and thank you for joining us this evening. We know that evenings are a valuable time for families, so we want to first of all thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedules to be here with us tonight. We're the Pathway teams here at the Thames Valley District School Board, and we're excited to bring you this session to help you and your student get ready for the important transition to high school. Let me introduce our Pathways team. Christine Giannakopoulos is our Superintendent of Student Achievement. Liette Cribbs is our system principal who will be monitoring the question and answer throughout the evening. Jess Dowsett, Derek Tangretti, and myself, Rob Caparici, are the learning coordinators in the Pathway portfolio. We're thrilled to be here with you this evening. And a big thank you as well to our Thames Valley IT team who's working behind the scenes to make sure that this virtual session is possible. On the screen, you're going to see our agenda for tonight's session. We'll be covering some key information to help you with the grade 8 to 9 transition, including what happens when. It's going to be a timeline for grade 9 registration, what students need to graduate high school, an overview of the course selection process, how parents and caregivers can support students with their next steps after registration, as well as resources and supports that are available to you. In addition, we'll show you how to find specific information about your local high school. As mentioned, we'll have a question and answer session at the end of the presentation this evening. Early next week, a recording of this session will be available on the grade 7 and 8 Pathway webpage, along with a PDF of the slides you'll see this evening, so that you can access all of the links shared tonight. You'll also see QR codes on some of the slides, which you can scan to follow along and access the resources during this presentation. I'm now going to pass over to Derek, who's going to take us through the first part of our presentation.
Awesome. Thank you, Rob. One of our important supports within the TVDSB elementary schools are our Elementary Pathways Leads, or EPLs. In order to provide an encapsulated approach for students, TVDSB created the Elementary Pathways Leads positions to coordinate and enhance a student's successful transition to high school. EPLs work very closely with all grade 8 students, parents, caregivers, classroom teachers, learning support teachers, language teachers, administration, and secondary staff to provide a support system for course selection and for registration for high school. Please feel free to connect with your student's Elementary Pathways Lead for any support you may need for this important transition. In addition to our school supports, Thames Valley has created a grade 8 transition guide to high school. This helps students understand how to plan for next year. For current TVDSB students, your students will already have brought this guide home this week. This guide will show a timeline of what to expect in the coming months, as well as provide information on courses and supports available for both you and your student. But what do you do if you don't have a copy? Don't worry, this guide is available and posted on our grades 7 and 8 website, or you can scan the QR code on the screen to access the guide. We're going to give all of you a second right now to give you an opportunity to scan the QR code so that you can have a moment to grab this guide. On the second page of the transition guide, you will notice a timeline to help you explore all stages of the transition to high school. As you can see on this timeline, the Elementary Pathways Leads, or EPLs, have been supporting your students since the beginning of the school year. The yellow section highlights fall learning from grade 8s. Students have learned how to log into My Blueprint accounts and have begun creating their individual pathway plans. For some of you who may not be familiar with My Blueprint, it is an online tool used by all TVDSB students within grades 7 to 12. Students, parents, caregivers can have access to investigate and research educational options for all pathways, which is included but does not limit to apprenticeship, workplace, college, university, in order to develop individual pathway plans, which helps them to discover more about their learning styles and set goals and complete course selection. Within the orange section through October to December, students learn more about course selections and the high school registration process. Please note that high school open houses will be happening from November to January. We will discuss this information in a little more detail very shortly. In the red section, January, course selections are available in My Blueprint and formal process of registration begins. Once course registration is complete in February, your student will have additional transition activities in the spring and summer to help prepare for a successful September 2025. There are an abundance of programs and course options in our TVDSB schools. Emphasis technology schools, specialist high skills majors, Ontario Youth Apprenticeship programs, art, music, and drama programming, opportunities in robotics and aviation, adventures in the realm of STEM, and many more. TVDSB has a variety of specialized programs with many starting after grade 9. The best way to find out about all of these programming options that your TVDSB high school has to offer is by attending grade 8 family nights at the schools you are interested in, then looking through the school websites for the specific programs that meet your interest. Grade 8 family nights will be happening throughout TVDSB high schools from November through January. These nights are important opportunities to ask questions and also discover programs you may have not realized existed in Thames Valley. These dates are posted on our grades 7 to 8 website, or you can reach out to your school's elementary pathway lead and or secondary school websites for more information. Every grade 8 student has been assigned a secondary school based on their address. This is the high school you should attend based on your location at the time of registration. Alternatively, you may be interested in specialized programming at another school in areas of French immersion or emphasis technology. Your EPL will assist students and caregivers in understanding what processes need to be followed if you want to register at an out-of-area school. In the City of London, some school boundaries have changed. Students affected by such changes will have already received letters regarding this change. If you would like to review which school is your student's home school, please use the QR code provided on the slide, or you can go to the Find My School for that information. Please remember to toggle to the 2025-26 search, which you can see on the slide. As mentioned in previous slides, here is a compiled list of all high school open houses in our board. You can access the list at the link posted in the chat again, the QR code on the screen. Additionally, high schools create their own grade 9 webpage to display all available opportunities for students. The TVDSB grade 7-8 website will link users to these grade 9 websites so you can find the programs you're most interested in. After using the Find My School tool to discover any attendance options, students and caregivers are welcome to attend any and all sessions that may be of interest to their student. I'm now going to pass it over to Jess to take us through our next section.
Amazing. Thanks, Derek. So, what do students need to graduate and obtain an OSSD, or an Ontario Secondary School Diploma? The graduation requirements have been updated by the Ministry of Education, so you may be wondering what some of those changes are. There are really 4 overall requirements. The first requirement is 30 credits, so 17 compulsory credits and 13 optional credits for our future and our current grade 9 students. This also includes a technological education credit to be taken in grade 9 or 10, a STEM-related course, and a financial literacy component taken as part of the grade 10 math course. The second requirement is 40 hours of community involvement. Did you know that your student can start to earn community involvement hours starting this summer between grade 8 and grade 9? Students are encouraged to complete 40 hours of volunteering by the end of grade 10. To help with this, we have created a community involvement form that includes steps to completing community involvement hours and also addresses the activities that are eligible and ineligible. Parents and guardians can also submit community service hours online through their parent portal once their student is in grade 9. There is a hard copy of this form in the grade 8 transition guide that came home. Additionally, you may access this information online at the link provided in the Q&A under our graduation requirements on the Thames Valley webpage. The third requirement is the literacy requirement. You must meet the literacy graduation requirement to earn your high school diploma. For most students, this will mean passing the Ontario Secondary School Literacy Test, or the OSSLT. If you do not pass the OSSLT, there are other ways to meet this literacy graduation requirement, such as the Ontario Literacy Course. In grade 10, students will receive additional information and supports for this graduation requirement. And finally, the last overall requirement are students are required to complete 2 online credits. However, there is an opt-out process if parents do not wish this to be a requirement for graduation, and this can be done once a student is in high school. There are other options for recognition upon completion of high school, such as Ontario Secondary School Certificate, Certificate of Accomplishment, or Specialist High Skilled Major Seal. Please reach out to your high school guidance department for more information. As you plan for your next steps in your education journey, you will have the opportunity to select courses that meet your needs, allow you to explore areas of interest, and tailor educational experience while earning credit towards graduation. New this year, in grade 8, students will now plan their courses for both grade 8 and, for grade 9 and grade 10. While only the grade 9 courses will be submitted during the course selection process, it's important to consider both grade 9 and 10 while making your plans. So, what courses will students take in grade 9? In grade 9, students will select courses in the following areas: English, math, science, geography, French, and then 3 additional optional credits. The optional courses could be in a variety of areas based on student interests and will vary based on the facilities and expertise offered by each individual school. Some common grade 9 electives are visual arts, drama, music, physical education, business studies, Indigenous education, family studies, technology, learning strategies, or other reach ahead areas of interest like computer studies. Students are required to take at least 1 art, 1 physical education, and 1 technology credit to graduate. The tech credit is required to be taken in grade 9 or 10. It is also encouraged that students meet their art and physical education requirements in grade 9 and 10 as well, though there may be options to meet these requirements in the senior grades. As for the grade 10 courses, students will take English, math, science, history, civics and careers, and then again 3 optional courses. If you have any specific questions or concerns about the courses for your student, please reach out to your elementary pathways lead or secondary school guidance teacher. The graphic on the screen depicts how each subject is identified by a common course code designated by the Ministry of Education. So let's learn how to decode course codes. Every course code has 6 characters. The first 3 characters identify the subject. The first letter identifies the department, such as A for arts and T for technology. The second and third letters differentiate between specific courses in that department. So ADA would be arts drama, whereas AVI would be arts visual arts. The fourth character indicates the grade. So 1 is for grade 9, 2 for grade 10, and so on. The fifth character indicates the course type. So O is for open and W is for de-streamed. You can refer to this guide when reviewing your students' course selections in My Blueprint. Additionally, you will notice that the example provided on the screen is MTH1W1, which is the grade 9 de-streamed math course. TVDSB uses a program called My Blueprint to help students create their individual pathways plan, which includes the process of selecting courses for next school year. Please note, course selection will not open in My Blueprint for grade 8 students until January of 2025. The elementary pathways leads at your elementary schools will help with this process. In collaboration with My Blueprint, TVDSB has created a step-by-step guide and how-to videos to support parents, guardians, and caregivers through the course selection process. You can access this webpage through the QR code or web link on the screen, as well as in the Q&A. We will go through some of this process this evening, but this website will be a great resource to refer back to during the course selection process that starts in January. Here are a few general steps for course selection and the parent-guardian approval process. So first, students will select their courses in My Blueprint with the support of their elementary pathways lead and learning support team. Students are able to make a plan for different schools in My Blueprint, though they're only able to submit one plan for the school they will attend in the fall. Parents and guardians can approve only one of these course selection plans for one secondary school, and by doing so, they have confirmed that their student will be attending that school. Parents and guardians will receive an email requesting approval for their student's course selection plan. If you do not use email, your student's elementary guidance lead will reach out to you for approval in another way. Following your approval, the elementary school staff will begin the formal process of registering your student at the secondary school. For students who are not currently enrolled with TVDSB, the process will look a bit different, though we're very excited that you are considering TVDSB for your high school experience. First, we recommend that families attend the local high school's grade 8 family night that will be happening again between November and January. High schools will provide access to hard copies of registration forms or digital methods to register for high school. Please note the digital registration portal will open in January for students starting school in September 2025. You can also begin the registration process using the link in the Q&A. High schools will use methods other than My Blueprint to complete the course selection process in these circumstances. So please reach out to your local high school for specifics on out-of-board registrations. I will now pass it back to Rob to discuss the tips for next steps.
So once your course selection is complete, the next question is what happens next? There are a few key ways to stay informed. Primarily, the board will communicate with you through the parent portal and school messenger. On the back of the grade 8 transition guide, you'll find QR codes that link directly to these platforms to make staying updated even easier. In late August, students will receive their timetables from their new high schools, and you'll be able to see it in the parent portal as well. Throughout the spring and fall, schools will hold various transition events to help students feel welcome and part of their new school community. Your elementary pathway lead will help keep you informed about all of these opportunities. High School Here I Come is a non-credit summer program for grade 8 students entering Thames Valley High School in September 2025. This program runs towards the end of August, and more information will be available in early spring. It's designed to help equip students with learning skills and strategies to support their transition to high school. The program is going to cover topics like what high school is really like, academic expectations and study skills, how to get organized and stay on track, ways to get involved in the community, essential literacy and numeracy skills, and so much more. We know that the transition to high school can be both an exciting one and a bit challenging for many students. Once they're at high school, one of the best ways for students to meet people and make the most out of their high school experience is by getting involved. Every Thames Valley High School offers plenty of ways to engage, whether it's through clubs, the arts, sports teams, student leadership opportunities. The opportunities are endless at every school. Getting involved is a fantastic way to connect with others who share similar interests and create memorable experiences together. Throughout tonight's presentation, we've highlighted many different resources and supports that are available to help your student with their transition to high school. Here, we've provided the live links to each resource we shared, all that will be easily accessible in a PDF copy. Early next week, you'll find the recording of this presentation and the PDF version posted on that grade 7 to 8 website. We're now going to take some time to answer some of the questions that have come in through the Q&A feature. Please note that we won't be able to address every question about specific schools or individual situations tonight. For those types of questions, we encourage you to attend your local high school's upcoming grade 8 family night or reach out to your elementary pathway lead and your elementary principal for more guidance.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Rob, and the rest of the team. So I do have a couple questions from the chat just to review. So the first one is, how do you know when the secondary open houses are? So secondary open houses are posted on our website. So if you search open houses in Thames Valley District School Board, it will take you right to that link. Alternatively, there are links published within the chat as well that will take you right there. The next question is, where do I go for all the information? So if you search grade 8 transition or high school in Thames Valley, it'll take you to the website and all the information is there. The guide is posted there. In addition, those links are found in the chat. They're also in the transition guide that came home with your student, so that you can use those QR codes and those links to answer some of those questions. If you ever have a question, please feel free to reach out to your student's school and their elementary pathway lead. Which brings us to the next question. How do you know who your elementary pathway lead is? So you can connect with your student's grade 8 teacher. Some of them are the elementary pathway lead in addition to being a grade 8 teacher. And if they are not, they can direct you to the EPL at your school, or you can call your school and they can let you know who the EPL is. So there's some questions around the online courses as part of the 30 credits as a requirement. So those 2 online courses are part of the 30 credits. They're not in addition to. If you choose to opt out of those credits, you do have to take those 2 credits in person. We do encourage students to at least attempt or try an online course, as many post-secondary institutions also have either hybrid courses or online courses as part of their course offerings, and we would really like to prepare them for their next step in their educational journey. And so we do encourage them to take at least one and experience that mode of delivery for a course. Questions around volunteer hours that came up, and some of those answers are also in the chat. We do encourage students to start volunteer hours earlier. So in that grade 8 to grade 9 transition is a great time to get a start on those 40 hours. In addition, we encourage students to have those completed by the end of the summer of their grade 10 year. So before they go into grade 11, we know that students, once they enter grade 11, in their summers, they're usually, and during the school year, busy with jobs or extracurriculars or outside sports or other obligations. So we do encourage students to complete those 40 mandatory hours as quickly as possible. And you can always do more. There is no limit on the number of hours that you can do, but we do encourage students to get started as quickly as possible. And quickly right back to, if you opt out of the online courses, you do always have the opportunity to opt back in. It's not a decision that you necessarily need to make right away. And so we do encourage you to take a look at the course offerings at your particular high school and see if there are some that are offered in that mode that might be of interest. And just taking a quick look, I think there's some similar ones, but just really quickly back to the volunteer hours, you can only start counting them between grade 8 and grade 9. So that's when you can start to count those. All right, and so that seems to be kind of the general questions that have been in the chat. I do recommend that you go back to the chat to look at those links, visit the website, just to ensure that you have all the information. And as always, your school's elementary pathway lead, the school team, and the rest of us at the board office supporting those teams are always available to answer questions. So there we go.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Liette. So we hope that we were able to answer some of the questions that came up this evening. And again, the elementary pathway leads in your schools, your elementary principals, and those secondary open houses are going to be a fantastic resource to answer some of the more specific questions in specific situations to really help guide your student. So we really hope that tonight's session has been helpful as you begin this exciting journey with your grade 8 student. Remember that your local high school's grade 8 family is coming up soon. You can find a full list of these events on our TVDSB grade 7 to 8 website. Thank you so much for joining us this evening, and we look forward to welcoming an amazing group of grade 9 students in September of 2025. Have a great evening, everybody.